Ah, hello everybody. Uh, bit rushy. I was watching the Final Fantasy stream, which went a lot longer than I expected. It's still going on, so I paused it. I'll catch up later. They were showing some of the new PvP stuff, which I might be doing on stream in 2 weeks. I'm kind of excited for it. Please excuse the beep. Patch 6.1. So they're talking about the new story stuff that's coming and some of the new content. They are revamping PvP. So they're removing the current 4v4 mode, which is the current ranked mode, and not many people like it. And they're adding a new one that's very Overwatch-like. It's a 5 vs 5 PvP mode, and it looks really good. And they're adding a PvP battle pass, so you can just grind out PvP and earn rewards. So, better rewards and a fun new mode. Hopefully it'll be really active and lots of people playing it. Edition. Not just PvP stuff. They're revamping, I think we told you this, they're revamping the early game, specifically the end of A Realm Reborn. So you will probably get to go through what they're doing. It's the last like 3-4 levels of A Realm Reborn they're doing, so like 46 onwards I think. They're cleaning up the story there because it's a bit of a mess. And it's one of the places in the story where a lot of people will actually not be leveled enough to continue. But they're just making the story flow better at that point. Do I have... Oh, I have Honkai open right now. Let's, please ignore the popping sound as I click on captures. I forgot I had that open. But yeah, they're cleaning up that. There's gonna be new endgame content, obviously, for people that are there. And, what's some of the other stuff? Oh, alongside the PvP, they're adding a new profile system, so you can make yourself a profile in-game. You can make a little screenshot with in-game choices. You can pick an emote and some stickers and stuff to put a picture on your profile. Pick your favorite class, mark down what times you play, stuff like that. And that profile picture is actually going to be used in the new PvP mode. So at the beginning of the match, it's going to show the profile picture of all your teammates. Grab that. I apparently was not as prepared as I had thought I was, so sorry for the delay. Marks. And let's go to the display. And oh, I should probably full screen this before I go on display capture. There we go. Hello, hello. As usual, this is the same place I used for Anti Entropy. They also did the same thing for Durandal. So, ZKLM never finished, like fully translated the visual novel. Other people continued his work. So, all you have to do is swap in their translations if you're gonna do this. I already did that. So it should already be in here. Yep. Silly Lala. But here we are. Guess I can stop the music for now. I felt that song was the most appropriate to play on start and end of the stream. The trailer, that was from the trailer that they released Bright Night. For some reason, this one doesn't have music on the menu screen. I swear the other one did. Yep, you are on time. Hello, Suki. We were talking about Final Fantasy stuff just a little bit because that is what delayed me. I was watching the Final Fantasy live letter. I am excited for the new stuff in the PvP. But we have a new visual novel to get through, and I'm excited. It's funny because I didn't really like Durandal as a character. I'll be completely honest. I didn't like Durandal as a character until the most recent chapters. I don't remember. I think it was 27 that I started to really like her. I think that's when she shows up more. But they did a really good job developing her in the last few chapters. So I really want to see her backstory now. So here we are. I wasn't going to do this for another few weeks. I was going to read some mangas first, but I can't wait. Chapter 28 made this too tempting to not do. It's going to give me some music now. Hitting start. Hopefully it's not too loud. If I have to adjust volume levels, I will. Whoa, really loud. Okay, loud for me. It looks like it's fine for you guys. It would have been nice. Like, honestly, that's probably the biggest issue. And I know they probably did it on purpose to try and give people less suspicions about Bianca. But I feel like they did such a good job developing all the other characters. I wish they added some of Bianca to the earlier chapters. Like, imagine if during chapters 1, 2, 3 or something, you had to do a mission with Bianca. Just so you get to know the character. It would have been nice, but I don't know. 5 in the morning. Inside a device wider than the driver's seat of a truck, a young girl strapped the belt turns on a machine. Above the power button there is a mottled lamp. The abstract meter is surrounded by hard-to-read Cyrillic letters. God damn it. My Cyrillic is not good. Anyone know what that translates to? I like knowing this stuff, but my Cyrillic is really bad. Now that I see people dissing Durandal because they believe there wasn't enough chat to them. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. I kind of understand that, but I feel like it's only sudden for people who joined recently. Like, I've been playing for over a year, and it's very clear that Durandal was put in a position where there was something special about her. Numbers. I want to see what it is. Intercosmos? I think? Intercosmos? Hey, they did it for me. Okay. Hopefully they do more of this stuff, because in the last visual novel, there was a lot of times where they left the text just as it was, and they didn't show it in English letters. Approximately half a century ago, the organization Shixel helped humanity send several astronauts of many different nationalities to the moon. This machine is a relic of that glorious era. Warm-up is over. Current simulation magnification 0.2. Starting operation. The smell of oil, the sound of machinery, and the movement of the girl's hips serve as a signal to know that the air pressurization system has begun to adjust the gravity. Now her ankles and knees are only supporting 20% of her weight. This will let the young girl run tens of kilometers continuously without risk of damaging her joints. The morning sun rises in the distance. Valkyrie Durandal has begun another day of training. So is this afterwards? Because... okay, that's a very young-looking Durandal, but this has to be after her trip, right? Because as far as we know, she didn't take the name Durandal until after. Average heart rate is 125. Good. This is perfect. In that case, Bianca, shall we have breakfast? Today's dessert is a freshly baked cheese millefeuille. I can't pronounce French. Rita, what's up with you today? Why such a high-calorie... Wait, did you call me Bianca? Correct. Today is a special day that should be celebrated with a cake. Aw, it's her birthday. Today, February 28th. No, it's already 29th. Wait, is her birthday frickin' on a leap year? Ah. Been 4 years already. From the day I met you, and the day I met them. Oh, they met on a leap year. Okay. Even I have gotten used to the name Durandal. The Overseer will put his plan in motion at the right moment. The day when we can finally fulfill our promise will certainly come. Yeah. Keeping that promise is very important for the girl called Bianca. I don't think that was supposed to be from her. Hey, reused art. This is the same library art they used in the last visual novel. The now yellow-colored piece of paper sits quietly in the archives of Schicksal. The following is written on the first page of this confidential document. Top secret mission, Lonely Panthalassa. Start time, February 29th, 2012. Location, the Sea of Quanta. Target, blank. Members, Bianca Durandal Atagina, 12. Rita Rosweiss, 16. Status, closed. Reviewed by Auto Apocalypse. And now, the story will go back in time 1,461 days from February 29th, 2016, to the moment when Bianca Atagina and Rita Rosweiss arrived at the Sea of Quanta. Gosh, these refugees are nothing but cowards. They're all the same, no matter the era they came from. Can you believe they would prefer to live in hunger than to help us sail to the sea? How spineless can someone be? Well, before they drifted here, they didn't have any sailing experience. It's natural they'd be afraid of the mythical sea monster, Leviathan. What? Are you saying it's okay for them to never leave this island? It's okay for them to keep living only picking up shells and catching crabs? There's a saying that goes, the boat should be near the coast. What? Bianca, the average person is pessimistic and realistic. Before they can even start considering the rewards of their success, they look at the consequences of their failure. If a person like that is put against the sea, a completely unknown world to them, they won't be able to fight back against their fears. The name Leviathan makes them subconsciously believe that sailing to the sea is equal to becoming an enemy of nature itself. In other words, they are committing suicide. Thus, from their perspective, we are naive, crazy adventurers. Sympathizing with the weak? Also, Rita, how many times have I told you today? Stop adding Sama to my name. It's creepy. I'm a Valkyrie who only met you right before this mission started, and you only became my adjutant due to certain someone's insistence. Please stop talking to me the same way you talk to the overseer. Understood. Yeah, Sama. Okay, I might actually use the suffix in this one because it's kind of funny. Excuse me. You two, are you perhaps new here? Yes. We've been here for 38 minutes and 25 seconds. No, 26 seconds now. For unlike you all, we've come here to explore rather than to escape. Needless to say, until our mission is completed, we plan to involve ourselves in all your joys and sorrows. I am Bianka Atagina, and this is my adjutant, Rita Rosweiss. How can we help you? Ha 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 ha. Oh, he's just laughing a lot. What's so funny? My apologies. We the elderly just like to laugh. Please don't mind it, Miss Explorer. I used the wrong voice. Whatever. I'm not very good at the voices anyway. Anyway. I heard you two are trying to gather forces to defeat the Leviathan and open the way to the ocean. Yes, that's correct. Not a single person wanted to fight together with us, though. Understandable. None of them are warriors. They can't be compared with heroes who have seen hell itself. How do you know that? When you get to my age, you can just tell by looking at someone's eyes. I'm Miguel. Let me get straight to the point. Brave warriors, would you embark on an epic hunt together with this old sailor who can't even move his left hand? Well, that's why he's supporting his left hand. What? You mean... In short, I'll provide you with a ship and take care of steering it. So all I have is a reed boat. Old sailor. Oh, he's got a sword, too. Oh, sea, my old friend. I thank you for not breaking this tattered ship so that we may sail again today. What's up with you? Look, this reed boat hasn't seen any action in 3 years, but it's still ready to go. Has the Leviathan kept people trapped on the island for that long? It could be even longer. Seems to have made a nest near the coast and refuses to go away. For the first year after I came here, I was still catching plenty of fish. You didn't see any other people out in the sea when you went out fishing? None. Just look at it. There's no other land nearby. Not even Columbus himself would sail without making the necessary preparations. By preparation, you mean enough food and water. Yeah, you need those too, but the most important thing is to have a strong ship. Keels, triangle and square sails. That's what matters the most. Do you think anyone would look for new lands on an unreliable wooden boat? It's impossible. The sea is not so soft. But if you can defeat the Leviathan, then I'm sure everyone will start listening to you and build the ship strong enough to sail across the sea. Are you sure about that? Haha, isn't humanity a creature that lives on faith? For example, do you know why a small group of Spanish soldiers was able to win against an immeasurable number of barbarians? It wasn't because they had enormous power on their side, but because they never let the enemy feel they had a chance of winning. That's how a mere 200 ventures were able to fight against thousands and conquer Peru. We're getting more history lessons. Checking something. Okay. We good? I wasn't actually sure that I did my tweet It's like, wait a second, I typed it. Did I hit send? The Battle of Lepanto was won also by a small number, and it wasn't thanks to the Galaes. The enemy was beaten by their momentum. I'm surprised we haven't gotten like an info box yet. Could it be that you are from the Imperial Age of Spain? Oh, you could tell. I'm not one to brag, but before I came here, I wasn't just a veteran soldier, but a cultured person who wrote many books, too. That attitude makes me think your books didn't sell well. Bianca! That's mean! Oh no. You got a point. I don't know if I'm famous for 100 years in the future. Some of the books I wrote are La Galatia, The Travails of Pericles, and Sigismunda. And Don Quixote. Might have sold a little bit. You might have sold a little bit. Just a little. You are... Could it be you are Miguel de Cervantes? Oh, and we do get info. And it's not translated. Come on. Oh, that's sad. I just saw the third book and I was like, wait a second. Wait a freaking second. Oh, this is sad. It did say, when I looked at the Bianca one, Anti Entropy said it was 100% complete. This one said there was a few things that needed to be done. That it was mostly done, so something tells me the story is done, but some of these side things might not be. But all we can see is that he lived from 1547 to 1616. All we get from this box, because I can't read this. Well, aren't I pretty famous? A master of literature. It has a nice ring to it. I love it. And here I thought you were a soldier used to the battlefield. Who could have guessed you could be this smug? How could I not be happy after hearing that? You should smile too, Miss Bianca. It'll make you more motivated once we're out in the sea. Your concern is unneeded. There hasn't been a single day I haven't given my everything since I've become a Valkyrie at the age of 10. I love smug. I love the smug freaking Bianca. It's so cute. If you teach me how, I'm confident I can learn how to catch fish or steer a ship perfectly. My. By the way, Cervantes, how should we divide our roles once we sail? Hahaha, don't be so stiff, miss. You can call me Miguel. That's easy. I'll be the captain. I'll steer the ship and judge when we should advance and retreat. As for you two... Miss Bianca's specialty was spears, right? The harpoons are all yours. Miss Rita is a very attentive person, so keep an eye on the anchor rope and make sure it doesn't get tangled. Anchor rope? What is that for? That will, of course, be used to bring the ship closer to the beast. Can't kill it if we're too far away, right? Also, we need to pick up its body and bring it back to the island for everyone to see. I wonder what this Leviathan is. What are we supposed to do if the Leviathan were to attack us? This reed boat is a little... I'll make use of the currents to not give him the chance to attack us. It's that simple. Oh right, didn't you two show something to the people on the island? A gun capable of even destroying boulders. What was it called again? Oh, that's an interesting thing for them to have with them. The all-purpose firing weapon of the previous civilization's second relic. Not a hard name to remember. Is second relic the canon? Honkai second divine key. I think that was the king. At least it's called second divine key in the game, I think, but I don't think it's actually a divine key. Or was it really just called relic? Second sacred relic. Oh, it's the pistols! Makes sense. Because I know we've seen pictures of Bianka holding pistols. So she just has super-powered pistols. Hahaha, we old people aren't good with long names. But anyway, we have a weapon stronger than the cannons of the Invincible Armada. What we're riding on isn't an unreliable reed boat, but a merciless hunting warship. Remember this. Leviathan, sea creatures, they're all just mere beasts. The only difference is their size. And brave hunters can't possibly be afraid of a prey they're willingly approaching themselves. Is it the Twins of Eden? No. It's not the Twins of Eden, it's just the second relic. I don't think... There's a bunch of relics that were made that were never associated with Hershers, but it has something like a Hersher core in them. In the game, all of them have the same aesthetic of being like white, black, and gold. But there's one for every weapon type. But it's not the Twins of Eden. It's something else entirely. It might be like a prototype for the actual Divine Keys. I don't know if we've ever been given explanation for what the other relics are. But yeah, these, as far as I know, these aren't actually made from Hersher cores. Yeah, you get it. Now, let's kill him. Look closely, old man. This is how a Valkyrie from Shixel fights. How can you say it's a mere beast with such confidence? Maybe he just trusts Bianka. But here, if you want, I can pull it up. Sacred Relic. There's a bunch of these. And of course it doesn't show the second one. But we're talking about this weapon. There's a bunch of them? The 11th one, I think, is the one we know the most, because this is the one that, it's actually used. This is the one that's used by, I can't remember her name, but it's the Teresa that showed up in Ingratitude arc. The, like, the nun-looking one. And then third, I think, is the sword. There's a bunch of these. But yeah, it has something that resembles a Hersher core, but as far as we know, it isn't. So most likely, the sacred relics are all prototypes, maybe used with, like, really powerful Honkai beast cores or something. But yeah, most of them are not very good in the game, sadly. For being such cool lore weapons, they're not very good weapons in the game. The sword got famous because it became a stolen asset? Yeah, I think I remember that. It used to be good, too, near the beginning of the game. It used to be a good weapon. But it is not used by, like, anyone anymore. They walked around to measure the length of the island and looked at it from the top of many rocky mountains. But now that they are out in the sea, the two Valkyrs realize how small the harbor truly was. Even though it's only been a few minutes since the reed boat left the port, the island they were at moments ago can't be seen anymore. The shelter that was large enough to house dozens of people could be covered with the palm of a hand. The midday sun shines on the surface of the sea. The light reflected is so dazzling it's hard to keep one's eyes open. The old man kept rowing the boat with his long oars, steadily advancing in the undulating waves. Careful, he's coming. I don't sense anything near us. Yes, but it's almost time. Time? After the Leviathan gets a whiff of someone that is out of the sea, it takes him approximately 15 minutes to catch up to the ship. I see. So that's why you stopped the ship here. That's right. The reef 5 meters below the ship protects us from any attack from beneath. After all, we're using ourselves as bait. Being careless can be fatal. And the opportunity to strike will only show itself for an instant. Wait, what's that sound? The sound of machinery. Look, there's something black under the water. Is that blood? Something is fighting the Leviathan under the sea. It's coming. Is this like a cutscene or something? Mini cutscene? Oh my god, that's the boat they're on? There's an explosion and we didn't see anything. Wait, I'm just realizing that huge shadow? Holy crap. That's supposed to be what's under them? That's a submarine? Oh my gosh, is that what Shakespeare's in? Shakespeare's just got a submarine? Oh, the end of chapter 1. Also, I didn't look. How many chapters is this? I need to check. Is that just gonna play it again? Yes. It's not what I want. Not what I want. And that doesn't say anything. Where's my bookmark, actually? My bookmark said it, didn't it? Oh, I did it again. Not history. Bookmarks. This one. There we go. It is 31 chapters. No, I haven't switched yet. I'm gonna do it on the weekend because I'll have more free time on the weekend. And I can test it out without it affecting stream. But for now, I am still on Firefox. I guess we'll see how long these chapters are. That first one was relatively long. This might be a 4-stream thing, we'll see, depending how long the chapters are. The ocean is magical. No matter what occurs, it's all fleeting. Only its waves and bubbles are allowed to be eternal, swallowing everything into loneliness. The mysterious submarine that suddenly appeared is now quietly floating above sea. Only the cries of the pitiful Leviathan could be heard under the blue sea. Are you alright, Bianka-sama? Of course I am. I can handle getting wet from head to toe. This is nothing. Ah, thanks for the towel. How did she have a towel that was dry? What is this? What is this? Do you know something, old man? No, not a clue. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. A ship made entirely of metal tore apart the Leviathan's belly as if it were made of paper, and it can even dive under the sea. Are all ships from 400 years in the future this amazing? I love her face. I love all her faces. Oh. Don't be so surprised by something of this level, old man. I'll have you know, our transport ship Hestia is 10,000 times stronger than that submarine. Not that we can bring any battleship to this world. Oh, and there's her with the guns. Don't fret, old man. No matter who they are, we'll do something about it. Huh? The energy of the Holy Relic hasn't recovered even a single bit? Look, someone is coming out of the submarine. They are raising a flag? That is... a pirate flag. Oh my gosh. Four boats left the submarine. 3 of them surrounded the Leviathan and began to tear it apart. The remaining boat headed to the small reed boat carrying 3 people. Bianka felt like her opponent this time weren't normal pirates because the boy that seemed to be the leader was panicking to be point. It's impossible to believe he could be a pirate. He looks familiar, and I don't know why. Hello. Hello. I'm sorry. What? We seem to have killed your prey, so I'm very sorry. So you came all the way here to apologize, Captain? I'm not the captain. I should let Lala explain. This poor kid. You're really hopeless when it comes to these things. Everyone, we're sailors from the amphibious ship Caledonia. I'm Lala, the boatswain. This is Jimmy, our engineer. As you can see, we're pirates. We apologize for stealing your prey, but we'll be keeping it as an apology. Our captain wants to invite you all aboard the Caledonia. Interested? Dim incandescent bulbs, fading paint, rusty nuts, and aged but well-maintained power cables. For Bianca Attagina and Rita Royce, the Caledonia was a giant time capsule, as if they had stepped into a novel by Jules Verne. Late 19th and early 20th... Oh, that's Bianca talking this time. Late 19th and early 20th century designs. Where did this amphibious ship come from? You're asking me. Who else? Your engineer doesn't seem to be able to hold a conversation. There is no use in asking him. Oh, poor kid. Jimmy loves to talk, but he's not confident enough around you yet, right? Yeah, I think so. So, where did this submarine come from? Going by your clothes, you don't look like you're from the 20th century to me. Yes, we actually aren't. But don't be in such a rush. From now on, the captain will answer all your questions. I can't go stealing the spotlight from her. Come, the captain is waiting for you at the bridge. I feel like Bianca is gonna like fangirl over the captain, but we'll see. 20th century, or perhaps 21st. Welcome aboard the Caledonia. Captain Barbossa welcomes you on behalf of the entire crew. Oh my god, freaking Shakespeare referring to herself as Barbossa? You speak and act like an actor, despite being a pirate. I sincerely thank you for praising the King's Men. Shakespeare looks so badass, holy crap. By King's Men, you mean Shakespeare's. The one and only. And playing the role of the pirate Captain Barbossa is William Shakespeare herself. Bianka shot. Well, if you don't like Barbossa, I can also act as Captain Nemo. Though I don't know him very well, I just so happened to find, by chance, the ship he abandoned. Am I saying it wrong? Oh well. My mistake. You made it yours. Exactly. On a peaceful morning, I was doing my vocal workout while facing the sea, when suddenly a loud sound was heard and a steel monster came out of the maelstrom. There was no one on it, and its logbook was incomplete. You asked me, Captain Nemo and his Nautilus make for such a strange story. Is this supposed to be a joke? A joke? You could call it that. A joke from a play known as Fate. But I must admit, overthrowing order, changing fate, rebelling against the heavens, it's all truly overflowing with fun. Is this a world without order? Oh my, does our nameless little knight care about order? Right, we should start by introducing ourselves properly. What? How did we go from that talk to introducing ourselves? I am Marion William Shakespeare from the 16th century England and captain of the Caledonia. If you don't like Marion, you can call me William or Shakespeare. I don't mind. 16th century, so 1500. This is our boatswain, Lala Saida Al-Hura. She's from Morocco of the same era as me. And this is James Jimmy Watt, an engineer from the 18th century Scotland. The Caledonia got its name thanks to him. Oh, I didn't click it, dang it. No, I can't go back. No. I don't think it's translated, but I missed one of the notes. Gosh darn it. James Watt, the guy who made the first modern steam engine, he looks younger than me. Nautilus wasn't a bad name, but the crew insisted on this new name to honor the Scottish boy for his excellent work on repairing the ship. Wasn't it you, the one who wanted it to change its name? And I didn't do anything impressive, I just followed the manual. Ah, right. This is Ironmouse, my chief officer and adjutant. Who the fuck? I have never seen that art before, so that's interesting. Someone new. Pleasure to meet you. I have no idea what kind of voice to use for this. Wonder if it's Durandal. If Durandal has like a metal body. Oh, and it's a she, so I'll use a higher pitched voice. This is gonna be a bunch of female voices though. She herself wishes for her identity to remain a secret, so please respect that and don't pry on her private matters, but I want to know. No. Isn't that a bit suspicious? Well, maybe that's how it looks to an outsider, but to me, she's the most trustworthy and reliable person on this ship. Oh, I think I know who it is. Understood. I won't press the matter of Iron Mask's identity any further. You and your crew introduced yourselves. I suppose it's now our turn. I am Bianka Atagina, and this is my adjutant, Rita Rosweiss. We're Valkyries, who under the orders of Shixel came to explore this world. Shixel, Valkyrie, what's that? Huh? It seems your words were true, my dear adjutant, or should I say, teacher. Beta Alhura, real name Lala Aicha. Oh my gosh, that's a long ass name. Was Queen of Whoa, okay. And a pirate leader in the Earth. Interesting. Thanks for the extra info. That might have been one of the ones I missed earlier. Director, have some moderation. Hey! What is this red-haired shorty saying? How can you not know Shixel? Oh my, don't scold me, young lady. What I'm saying is, it's the truth. I've never met any Shixel, and there's no one who goes by that name here. What? But I know a little about them thanks to what Iron Mask told me. So this is Shakespeare, but it's not our Shakespeare, because our Shakespeare knew about Shixel. So this is a Shakespeare from a different world. There are many worlds out there who are unusually full of an energy called Honkai. Is it some kind of magical world? Worlds affected by this so-called Honkai are under the constant threat of monsters and calamities. And the one who rose against it is an organization called Shixel. There's no one who hasn't heard of Shixel in those worlds. To fight against the monsters, Shixel selects women with potential and turns them into soldiers, who they call Valkyries. Said Valkyries can resist the corruption caused by Honkai and use its power to fight for humanity. Self-proclaimed Valkyries are those things really true in your world. You phrased it in a strange way, but yes, that's the truth. Then listen, you two. The advice I'm about to give you will be useful to you in the future, so make sure to pay attention. Advice? Yes, a very simple advice, but of the utmost importance. Listen, if you plan to survive in this world, make sure not to waste your ammunition. Because there's no Honkai energy here. I don't mean you won't be able to refill your energy anymore, but rather the recovery process will be 100 times slower than what you're used to. Similar to how the Caledonia can only carry 6 torpedoes even after its renovation. Or perhaps did the training you've undergone since a young age make it so you can't do anything without Honkai? I'd appreciate if you didn't underestimate me. If you go that far, would you like to spar with me? I promise I won't use Honkai energy. What will you do? Show off your melee fighting skills? I've got an idea. Chief Officer, do you feel like being this young lady's opponent? No thanks. Are you hated by your crew? But if the captain were to pay me for it, I will. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, there's one. I'm trying to remember the name. I don't even know if we're gonna figure it out in this one, but I have a funny feeling that Iron Mask is either gonna be Shigure Kira. It can't be Nigoroth, right? Because I don't think Nigoroth shows up in this. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Shigure Kira, if she knows about Valkyries and stuff. Because we know Kira went missing. Huh, were you a money-loving mercenary all along? Very well, I won't be able to call myself a good captain if I don't pay my troops' salary. In that case, I have one request. If Shakespeare is sending her adjutant to fight, then I will be her opponent in behalf of Bianca. Does that sound good to you? Interesting. Then let's do the following. Bianca and me, Rita and Iron Mask. Each one will fight its respective opponent. Any objections? Is Rita gonna try and knock their mask off? I feel like that's something Rita would do. I feel like Rita would try and just get the mask off to figure out who it is. So strong. That was an excellent fight. Lasting that long despite fighting using weapons and technologies you're not familiar with is worthy of respect. If you keep up your training, I'm sure your martial arts skills will surpass ours. Now that we release stress by exercising, the real information exchange can begin. What's the goal of your exploration? In exchange, I will tell you the reason why the Caledonia sailed. No comment? Say nothing and you will lose the opportunity to become a passenger on the Caledonia. If there is something you don't want me to know... Wait, old man. You can stay. To us, you're our comrade, so please don't think of yourself as an outsider. Let's get back on topic. Rita, explain it to them. Tell them why we've come here. Understood, Bianca. First, do you know what the Sea of Quanta is? Oh god, she's going big into detail. Oh, now we're gonna get explained. In simpler terms, your mission is to enter a different dimension called the Sea of Quanta and explore a special structure known as the Ether Anchor Point. Mathematically speaking, the Sea of Quanta doesn't belong to the known four-dimensional space. Instead, our here is a parallel world that exists in parallel to it. The Ether Anchor Point is a topological formation that exists between the dimensional manifolds, and whether its origin is natural or man-made has yet to be discovered. We get to see this? Nope. So I guess these aren't going to be translated this time around. That's sad. Unlike the classic dimension we live in, the Sea of Quanta is fragmented on a large scale. Basic physical laws change continuously as the coordinates shift, resulting in worlds being unstable, like soap bubbles. However, in the gap between said fragmented worlds, there are countless stable zones fixated by the Ether Anchor Point. Those worlds, like ours, follow a fixed set of laws. This is my conclusion. Listen well, this is very important. The projection of the solar system in the Sea of Quanta is very close to the coordinates of an Ether Anchor Point. Which means if someone were to get inside that projection in the Sea of Quanta, one could possibly observe a clone of our Earth. There is value in exploring something like that. Luckily for us, by using materials left by the previous civilization, we were able to create several experimental devices which allow us to move back and forth between the Sea of Quanta and our world. The name of that device is Genius, and we've seen that before. In theory, by using the Genius, a person is able to return from the projected worlds at any moment. But if one were to start from this side, our reality can only be used when an extremely rare space-time window appears due to technical difficulties. The next time a window will appear is February 9th, between 11:15 and 12:15, near the Fjord 1054 in the Northeast Greenland National Park. It will remain open for approximately 100 seconds. This event is rarer than the transit of Venus. It could be centuries until the next window appears. What do you think? Doesn't it make you excited? So they're using an experimental technology they can only use once every few hundred years? And apparently Rita gave them the simple version. That's the simple version of it. Our objective is to explore the ether anchor point. Do any of you know anything about it? Not a clue. I didn't understand half the words you said. Doesn't sound too much different from what you told me, Iron Mask, multiverse or whatever. Perhaps. That Overseer knows his stuff. Eyes change color. Then, I'll take over to explain the situation from inside the Sea of Quanta. Oh, chapter? At the end of chapter 2? Yep, end of chapter 2. And I'm gonna do a stretch. The Sea of Quanta is not a real ocean. It doesn't belong to any particular planet, nor it's composed of liquids such as water. It's not the cornerstone of a single universe, either, but the medium where many worlds of countless possibilities exist. Its structure can't be completely described using a third or four-dimensional mathematical concept. Let's imagine for a moment many worlds, each one with their own set of dimensions and laws, being their own separated bubble. Following that metaphor, the Sea of Quanta is an ocean that houses countless bubble worlds. Of course, it doesn't matter if you think of it as a bathtub instead of an ocean. Membranes are formed in the fluctuations of the ether the Sea of Quanta is composed of, and said membranes may evolve into a bubble world. As we all know, a three-dimensional bubble has a spherical surface that is close to being two-dimensional. When these bubble worlds are in the ether a choice of which of the 11 dimensions are inherited must be made. For instance, in the universe we are familiar with, humans can recognize 4 dimensions and 7 extra dimensions, each one being a constant membrane. What Overseer Otto referred to as an ether anchor point is the special structure or method that allows those membranes to turn into a bubble world. And we've seen ether anchors before. They look almost like a Herschel core. And as far as we know, they're what's left of the connection to the imaginary tree. It's like, if you imagine like a fruit falling off a tree when it has that tiny piece of stem, that's the ether anchor, as far as we understand it. When the analogous distance between two membranes is small enough, they begin to influence each other, for example, by exchanging matter. Speaking in general, it's easier for a substance to go from a relatively small membrane to a relatively big membrane, but doing the opposite is quite difficult. As such, the relatively small membrane is likely to be one who performs changes to other bigger membranes. And finally, the special membrane called projection is born. In this projection, only analogous areas of the membranes continue to exist, while everything else disappears completely. For example, the world where Caledonia exists right now is a projection made out of membranes which had analogous properties between them. This is how Bianka and Rita were able to meet Captain Shakespeare, who came from another world. Please make a funny face. I don't think it'd be appropriate, but it'd be funny. Oh, it's zoomed out. I can't wrap my head around this situation. Oh. You were there, Rita. The island refugees seem to have calmed down. There were a few complaints by the pirates, but they still made room for everyone to rest. But I doubt they'll be able to lie down in bed and relax for a while. That's fine. No one is in a position to complain. And that old man Miguel is here too. I don't think the air will be too tense with him around. Yes, I agree. Actually, I can't help but feel impressed by that side of you. Eh? My what? The side of you that swiftly makes decisions and takes action. About that, once in the orphanage a counselor told me, "By the love of God, you idiot, would it kill you to use your head for a little bit?" So it's very clear that young Bianca shows her family heritage really well. Oh my gosh. And don't trust so quickly. Think things twice. For most, that would be a disadvantage, but in the right hands it can turn into an important advantage. I wouldn't say it has turned into an advantage. I think someone who's moderately reckless is better than someone who doesn't hesitate at all, is too indecisive, or doesn't do anything at all to escape responsibility. About the last one, I don't think there's a Valkyrie like that anywhere. Of course, I'm aware it also doesn't apply to you. Was the last one the... Is this a jab at Kiana? Like K423 Kiana? That she doesn't hesitate, she's completely indecisive and just... she just kind of does what she wants? Is that what that was? I just wanted to compliment you earnestly. Compliment me? I guess you took the lead on that. Our roles are backwards now. Backwards, you say? Here, take this. It's a gift. Looks like a fish. Oh, Bianca's so cute. Huh. Happy 17th birthday, Adjutant. Thank you very much. I made it using a fang from the Leviathan. It's too weird. Feel free to throw it away. It's not worth anything. I planned to give it to you at night, right before going to sleep, but let me give it to you now to serve as well as a thanks for fighting on my behalf today. There's no problem if I give it to you a few hours earlier, right? Right? She's so cute. Oh my gosh. But of course, I will cherish any present from Bianca-sama. You don't have to cherish it. No need to be shy, Bianca-sama. I'm not shy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to raise my voice. I'm aware, Bianca-sama. If I may ask, how did you know my birthday was tomorrow, on March 1st? I don't recall telling anyone. I know, because the Overseer sold you out. Rita Rosweiss, born on March 1st, 1995. Oops. Hope I didn't interrupt something nice. Nice? It's nothing like that. As I said during my introduction, in this world, the continent known as Europe is currently blocked. Yes, you said the amount of refugees from other worlds are increasing, and that it might be connected with whoever is ruling Europe right now. Yes. Yeah. Also, that I would show you solid proof of that. Well, we've just arrived at the perfect place to see it. A land called by many names, such as Pillars of Hercules, Mount of Terror, and the World's End. Gibraltar. Gibraltar? Didn't we leave from a place between the Canary Islands and Madeira in the Atlantic Ocean? That's right, I'm not lying. Then if you're telling the truth, we traveled over 1,000 kilometers in barely 4 hours. On this old submarine, can it even move over 100 knots? Even at a quarter of that, 25 knots, it would be less than 50 kilometers per hour. What you're saying can't be true. Are all Valkyries this good at geography? The Caledonia is moving at 5 knots, approximately the speed of a normal person running. Then, well, calm down and listen. The Caledonia isn't particularly fast, but what if there is a shortcut? What do you mean? Do you remember what my adjutant said? That everything here is a projection of the real world. However, that projection isn't 100% accurate. For instance, there are no humans born in this world, which means it wouldn't be so strange if there was a natural phenomenon that doesn't exist in the outside world, right? What are you trying to say? When I sailed for the first time, I discovered ultra-high-speed deep-sea currents, going into many directions. By taking advantage of them, the Caledonia can travel at high speed underwater. They're cheating. You can think of it as this submarine being a surfboard surfing underwater. Ultra-high-speed sea currents. Why does something like that exist? Beats me. It's like teaching a mere fisherman the principles behind a typhoon. According to my adjutant, this is a natural phenomenon unique to this world. Who knows, maybe there is a complex reason behind it. In any case, the Gibraltar doesn't lie. The Caledonia will soon surface and you'll be able to see it with your own eyes. We're really at Gibraltar. But that wall, what's going on with that wall? It's surrounding the entire coastline. To be precise, it's surrounding the entire European continent. The Wall of Asgard is what people who fled to North Africa call that monstrous wall. According to them, the wall appeared approximately 100 years ago, though at first it only surrounded a ruined city. But over time it started to expand, and slowly but surely new walls were formed. It crossed mountains and rivers, leaving behind inhospitable areas. Give it a few years and it'll block the Mediterranean and Atlantic Ocean too. Can we read this one? Nope. Does look like we're not going to be able to read any of these. The Strait of Gibraltar flows faster than the English Channel, but before that huge wall, it's just a matter of time until that is no longer true. Sadness. Gibraltar used to be a very important trading hub in the past. Who could have imagined it would end up like this? No, I wonder how long will Tanger, Ceuta, and Tetuan remain on the other side. Tetuan is Lala's hometown. May I ask something? Of course. That wall of Asgard, is it made of Honkai energy? That seems to be the case according to my adjutant's observations. The average density is approximately 1,000 Honkai watts per meter. Touch it and you die. I don't understand the terms she uses, but it sounds horrible. However, there hasn't been any signs of Honkai beasts, correct? Honkai beast? What's that? The monsters Iron Mask mentioned earlier. Do they not appear near the wall? No, I don't think so. But that doesn't change the fact that merely touching the wall of Asgard is fatal. The natives who refused to leave their homes went up in smoke, if proof of that. It went up in smoke. Besides Honkai energy, there is another kind of energy at play. I once thought that if I obtained the means, I could change everything. I told myself everything would be fine, and that fortune was on my side, which is why. This sword is broken. Good job, you broke Durandal, you jerk. Is that a treasure sword? It doesn't look broken to me. That's because you haven't seen its true form yet. Good Donna, unlucky is your plight. I've need of you no more, spent is my pride. We in the field have won so many fights, combating through so many regions wide, beneath the sun reflecting back his rays. Relics lay in your seven-colored pattern. Red courage, orange intuition, gold freedom. Green ethics, cyan prosperity, blue reason, purple dominance. You shall become the sharpest blade in the world, wielded by a brave hero worthy of you. Just like your name, Durandal, you shall be unbreakable and unrivaled. Anyway, the sword can't be used anymore, so it's all yours. But wait a moment. What do you mean you're giving me a broken sword? That name, Durandal, I feel like I've heard it before, and that needlessly melodramatic act of yours is too suspicious. Well, how do I say it? If one were to try to forcibly draw out the power of that sword, it would be similar to breaking some kind of contract, and all the power stored in the sword would go away. Don't tell me. You're about to ask for our help to restore power of that sword, aren't you? RPG lifestyle. RPG story. Yep, exactly. Do you actually expect me to nod and do as you say? Well, according to what my adjutant says about Valkyries, either you or perhaps Rita is the true owner of this sword. What do you mean by that? The moment when Durandal unleashes its true power, it does a check to determine the true nature of its owner. Courageous, intuitive, free, virtuous, vigorous, rational, and noble. Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering too, because a few of them sounded like Hershers, and because this is a translation, it could be slightly off. If the 7 characteristics aren't met, the power of the sword will be scattered across the world in the form of gems. Sounds like a fairy tale. In that case, let me tell you this. We found one of the 7 gems, the Gem of Courage, in the Saloum River at the west of Africa, and the red color of the sword's hilt returned. Do you still believe it's a mere fairy tale after seeing this? I mean, we didn't see it. Try holding it. Let me tell you where the remaining 6 gems are. The moment she touched the sword, a strange feeling overwhelmed the girl's mind. Surprised, she closed her eyes to shut off her vision. That way, it would be easier to picture the images that came to her. And she saw 6 different landscapes. A flower blooming amid a blizzard. An idol dazzling on the stage. Isn't the idol supposed to be, dang it, what was her name again? So bad at this. Shigeru Kira? I feel like Kira was an idol when we saw flashbacks. A mysterious city surrounded by volcanoes and snowy ridges. A space center near the edge of a desert. A limestone cave glowing like a jewel in a rainforest. A desolated island with statues pointing towards the shore. And unrelated to those visions, without proof whatsoever, the girl felt that if this sword were to awaken its true power, it would become the sharpest blade in the world. No matter the opponent, it would cut right through it as easy as slicing a cake. No, that was not a baseless claim. For an instant, the girl had a taste of how an undefeated warrior in the battlefield would feel like. But she knows very well that that is not something she should grasp right now. Her nerves tighten, goosebumps arise, cold sweat drops. I certainly saw strange landscapes, and felt some kind of hidden power that I can't put into words. If this sword can really awaken, there is no doubt that it will destroy that wall easily. Tested that. If you're talking about her fighting someone, you have to remember they're not technically using the Durandal. You're not technically using the Sacred Sword. The Sacred Sword is technically inside the bubble universe, holding it together. So what she was using was just a power borrowed from it, so she's not using the full power of the sword. So who knows, maybe it is that strong. But maybe we'll never find out because it's gonna be used to keep the world stable. But where did you get this Durandal? A weapon on the level of a divine key. I stumbled upon it. Excuse me? I found it by chance. An earthquake happened shortly after I met Lala in Tetuan. The sword fell off a cliff, and I was lucky enough to be the first one to find it. Well, I can't guess what you're thinking, but just so you know, the one who gave it the name Durandal wasn't me. The first time I touched this seven-colored sword, I saw the silhouette of a certain female knight, carrying the Carolingian Empire's coat of arms with her. She and her companions fought all over the country against monsters and other evil creatures, and even made it to the moon once. Isn't that? Yes, it matches the tale of a certain historical figure, the legendary knight who served under Charles the Great, Roland. The only inconsistency is, the Roland from the history I know was definitely a man, a brave, burly man full of muscles. A man? Yes, nothing to be surprised about. Ah, I see. In your history, Roland was a woman, wasn't he? So apparently it's just our world where all historical figures are female. It's those Valkyrie genetics. Those Valkyrie genetics are making all the powerful people in the world female. Yes, she's quite famous as a hero who fought the Honkai, and although she wasn't a Valkyrie herself, there's no Valkyrie who hasn't heard of her. But what's the relationship between Durandal and Roland? Her sword was named Durandal. Ah, haha. Did you realize it? Let me ask you this, just in case. Did your Roland's sword, Durandal, go missing at the end of her legend? Yes. Durandal went missing after she lost her life. I've heard rumors that it was stolen right before the war began, but that's... Captain, we've got a drifter on the Caledonia's course. Just when things were about to get interesting. Huh, so this is literally a divine key then. I've heard that it might be a divine key, that it was some special weapon that May made, but I don't know the details. But Interesting. But saving lives is more important. We might be getting a new crew member, people. Hahaha. Come with me. Oh. That's chapter 4 then, I think? Oh? A man was drifting in the sea. Normally he would be able to get to land by using a tattered propeller. But he had no strength nor motivation to do so. That man was once a pilot, an ace pilot even. Not that far back, he was like a hawk in the wind, an albatross soaring in the sky above the clouds, a heaven-sent man who shot down 80 enemy planes. He feels like the last time he felt free was in the distant past, though ironically, he is now enjoying, in a sense, absolute freedom. He has no dreams or desires. He lives free, a life without meaning, as if he was already dead. A reasonable voice inside his head tells him, This feeling is a hallucination caused by an imbalance in your body fluids right before death. If I'm rescued, everything will be okay. If I'm rescued, I will be free. However, a foreign thought keeps telling him, your comrades are dead. Your motherland is beyond this hallucination. Like the philosopher once said, his death dieth the consummating one triumphantly, surrounded by hoping and promising ones. No translation. Sad. Thus, to die is best. The next best, however, is to die in battle and sacrifice a great soul. It has to be like a warrior. But he failed spectacularly, and now he can only die pathetically, like a lion stripped of its fangs. Drifting in the sea, life and death have lost all meaning. Well, what kind of person was our new drifter? He's a pilot, someone who operates machines that fly in the sky. Wow, think we can cross over the wall with one of those? About that, it's best if you don't get your hopes up. Why? We believe his plane was suddenly deviated from its course by a mysterious power when he tried to fly over the wall of Asgard. Going by what we know so far, I speculate there's a spatial distortion above the wall. I don't get it, but basically flying won't get us past the wall, correct? Exactly. That said, his plane can still be of use to us for other purposes. Leave the repairs to me. Thank you. Call me if you need to do any complex calculations. I'll ask you to dumb it down for me later. More importantly, our top priority is to persuade that pilot and have him join our crew. You're right. Before we can talk about cooperation, we need to get him out of his depression first. Let me say it now, helping children who lost their will to live is not my job. Don't count on me either. I'm not good at this kind of stuff. Would you leave it to me, then? Unexpected. You, the one who was doubting me moments ago and didn't want to take the sword, Durandal. That's a separated matter. Also, this doesn't mean I accepted that you're telling the truth. Oh my. This is this, that is that. You let us sail on your ship. There's nothing wrong with wanting to repay the favor, right? Also, I heard he was a soldier. Not a regular one either, but an aristocrat, stubborn ace pilot from the end of World War I. And it's obvious it would be better if an ace Valkyrie talks to him rather than a pirate. As expected, you're truly interesting. Please don't underestimate me. At least we should be able to understand each other as soldiers who have defeated many enemies. Anyway, Rita, please make something delicious, a high-calorie dish that would make someone drool just by looking at it. Understood, Bianca-san. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking at the guy in his outfit. A clean and well-groomed man is staring silently at the dark red meat in front of him. It's whale steak. Eat it while it's hot, or it'll lose its good taste. This steak is not made from any whale we know of, like sperm whale, right whale, or fin whale. It doesn't have that fishy smell other seafood has, and the meat is tender and juicy. This whale steak is more delicious than any beef steak. I'll pass. Oh, you still don't want to eat, even after learning that? Get it already. I don't have any appetite. Excuse me. You were saved from such extreme conditions, yet you don't have any appetite. Surely a man like yourself didn't get full just by drinking a little bit of honey water. You're mistaken if you think anyone would believe that. You don't know anything, little girl. So this pilot is the sort of person who discriminates based on age before even introducing himself. Looks like we cleaned you up for nothing. Do you intend to remain anonymous in front of people who saved you? Manfred Albert von Richthofen, fighter pilot of the German Air Force. Bianka Atagina, Valkyrie, squad leader of Schicksal's Special Exploration Unit, Lonely Thalassa. Schicksal and Valkyrie. As I thought, those terms mean nothing to me. Another person from a world without Honkai. It's funny, because I've always kind of assumed that Honkai was just everywhere. But I guess it makes sense that not every world has tons of Honkai. But it makes you wonder what caused the Honkai to affect those worlds. Because we know Honkai grows stronger from civilization progressing. But then, why do some civilized worlds not have Honkai? Is Honkai something that needs a catalyst first? Something has to cause it? Maybe someone doing something they're not supposed to? I mean, I wouldn't doubt someone in the previous era did something they weren't supposed to. But, When Sean, then Sean. What the heck does that mean? Not Japanese. If so, then yes. Oh, I spelled it wrong, but okay. But the true reason is human greed? I don't think about that. I don't think it's greed. It doesn't make sense for it to be greed. But we do know that it grows stronger with civilization and development. And I do know in chapter 28, the fragment of Kevin, when it was talking to Bianca, told her when she went to fight Husk Nihilis, said to fight the, what was it again? Fight the symbol of our failure, of our mistakes, or something like that? Which makes me wonder if the imaginary constructs were the previous era's fault. Which makes me wonder if something in the previous era caused the Honkai issues in our world. I don't know. It's fun to think about, though. I think I'll leave the translate page open. I don't belong to this world, but first, eat before it gets cold. My comrades survived 53 days out in the sea without water and unable to catch fish, only barely hanging on, eating seaweed and shrimp. Even in their worst moments, none of them dared to give up. But in the end, only me, their captain, survived. I'm aware, getting into an accident, being ill, everything comes down to cruel luck. So Really? What a troublesome man you are. Let me put it this way. The meat in front of you is what's left of a creature we fought not too long ago. Killing that giant monster only gave us ordinary things like meat and bones. You can't eat it all at once, nor can you store it for later. So what's in front of you is just leftover food. It's not different from seaweed or shrimp. Do you understand now? You. See, your head rejects it, but the rest of your body is being honest. Or are you going to say that you were better off when you were drifting? That your dead comrades want to see you in pain like this? Eat. I too had to say goodbye to people like you did. So how about you listen to my story while we eat? She gonna tell him about fights that she did? You came from a world where there's a World War II going on, but in another world there's something far more terrifying than that massacre. That is the Honkai, a natural disaster specialized in killing. You can't bargain with it. You can't talk to it. It's a natural phenomenon devoid of emotions. It will never feel satisfaction or pity. The Honkai won't stop until our civilization is completely destroyed. And despite all that, I'm still wondering why. That's still the one thing since playing Honkai and starting getting interested in the lore. Why? There has to be a reason behind the Honkai. I don't think it's just a force of destruction for destruction's sake. And the secret has to be with the will of the Honkai, but it's interesting. From what I've been told, I'm the survivor of a Honkai attack, one of the few survivors among hundreds of millions of dead. But that has no effect on me. After all, I have no memory of any of that. As far as I know, Bianka has always been alone. I don't know where I came from or who my parents are. I've seen many people like that, from sanatoriums in Russia to orphanages in France. Some were depressed like you, some others were hell-bent on revenge, and of course, some were normal too. In those not so bad but not so good days, I met a certain person, Ragna. A volunteer came to visit the orphanage. She was the captain of a Valkyrie assault squad, and a battle training instructor who reported directly to HQ. An assault squad is a special unit, even among Valkyrie squads, in charge of dealing with missions taking place in harsh environments. So we thought she was going to be a strict person who had nothing but rules and training in her head. Surprisingly, this assault squad captain held was a peaceful gardening class. Aww. I remember seeing this in chapter 28. This is a cute piece. Lilies are easy to grow. The bulb and the petiole sprout around it can be used to breed it. Of course, you can also take your time and use seeds. Lilies are big and smell good, and it takes almost no effort to take care of them. Plant them in the ground, and they will bloom without much trouble. It was an unforgettable evening. If I had to put it in words, the poem she taught us summarized it well. shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, oh, don't show this, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, well, it's just telling you what the poem is. So long lives this, and gives life to thee. I'm really sad that those side things aren't translated. By summer of the next year, the lilies we planted blossomed. White petals, golden stamens, the air throughout the summer smelled great, but the person who taught us how to plant them passed away the previous winter. I heard it was a fierce battle. Only a single member of her squad came back alive. And the assault squad was disbanded shortly after that. I don't want to think about that. During that summer, the survivor came to visit the orphanage. She didn't mention any assault squad in her self-introduction, only that she was a teacher at a certain school. At the time, I thought she was taking advantage of her position to recruit students. I couldn't help but feel anger towards such heartless person. But in response to my anger, she told me, what did he say? Don't get me wrong. As her friend, I haven't accepted her death. But there's no need for any of you to feel sad and be in pain whenever you think of that person. I wasn't ready for you. God damn it. I wasn't ready for this. If she lives in your heart too, and you want to honor her ideals and values, you must try to fulfill her dream. Because in the end, what this world recognizes is actions born out of pure effort and not sweet words. God damn. Shortly after, I signed up for a special Valkyrie training at HQ. I thought about joining the school that woman talked about. Oh my god, imagine how different this world would have been if Bianka went to school with them. It could have been so different. The school system was too relaxed, and I would have to wait several years until I could become a real Valkyrie. You can think of me as a child soldier, but from my perspective, the pilot training you've done is nothing impressive. I'm a rank A Valkyrie, a soldier who's seen hell same as you. Oh, this is getting a little loud. Sorry. Turn it down a little. But right now, you're closer to a soldier who retired after the death of his comrades. Be more positive and look forward, soldier. Think deeply about how you can make true the dreams of your comrades in this world. Oh, well, my first tears came a lot earlier than I thought in the visual novel. God damn it. Were you successful? Who knows? But I said what I wanted to say. The rest is up to him. The so-called talk between men, right? Between men? Don't mind the small details. Saying a talk between two chivalrous and passionate knights was too long, so I just said men. Give me a pass. If he is the sort of honorable man you think he is, then Jimmy will be able to start repairing his plane tomorrow. Ah, right. What do you think of our next destination? Alexandria? And also not translated, although that's a font. Yes. Well, the name makes me think of that old castle. Also the Alexandria Lighthouse, or the Alexandria Library. But those don't exist anymore, right? Ah, now that I remember, you said something about accommodating the refugees on the island there. That Alexandria must just be a refugee camp. Hahaha, you're right, but not quite so. It's fine to think of it as a refugee camp. What do you mean? The thriving capital of a dynasty, the remains of a lonely civilization. Both are correct, and both are wrong. Alexandria is a living city, full of ugliness and full of beauty. Are you sure you are picking the right words? Yes, I am. If you think ugliness and beauty can't coexist at the same time, oh, they definitely can. Then you haven't understood the concept of city yet. Every beautiful city has an ugliness equal to its beauty. Remember those words well. Your heart will understand them tomorrow. That's the end of a chapter. I think there's 5 chapters we've done so far. I'll do a couple more. I don't think I want to do crazy long streams like I did with the first one, where I went like 6 hours. Because I know that's harder for people to catch up with and watch. So I'm going to aim for 2.5 to 3 hours max. So we'll probably be doing the entire visual novel in like 4 streams. Instead of 3 like we did the last one. This one seems to be going a little faster at least. I am dreaming, a dream of when I still lived in a Russian orphanage. The city is called Sochi. It has a warm climate and it's surrounded by mountains and facing the sea. I ran freely through the alleys, inhaling fresh air into my lungs. As I slowly exhale, I feel like I was able to get out something melancholic in me. Cirsium bloomed in the weathered road under the lovely sunlight of June. They are purple, thorny, arrogant, and stubborn flowers, able to grow freely in the most barren lands. Are those what I think they are? Yeah, okay, that's what it is. Oh yeah, I've definitely seen these everywhere. These things are quite a persistent plant. Just like all the hardworking poor humans. Bees fly around the flowers. A familiar smell tickles my nose. I don't know where or when this was this. It could all be a weird hallucination. But I know one thing for sure. There is something I've lost and is still missing, buried here like a time capsule. Walking past the steam of the hot springs, I arrive at the shore of the Black Sea. From the Argonauts to Nikolai Ostrovsky, countless known and unknown heroes have stopped here to listen to the sound of the waves. Not translated, god damn it. The petrel is free to roam the sky. A familiar smell tickles my nose. I don't know where or when was this. It could all be a weird hallucination. I love this song, goddammit. I don't want to talk over it. They keep playing a bunch of old classical stuff, and I really love a lot of these old classic songs. Oh, it's over. Don't have to get distracted by it anymore. Hey, good morning. Going to bed and getting up early can be difficult in a ship isolated from the outside world. Well, that might be true for the captain who went through 10 alarms before waking up. Us Valkyries are trained in a way our life rhythm will not disrupt those around us. Is that so? Quite different from what Rita told me. Wait, what did you hear? Nothing big, just... When you sleep, you put your head under the pillow. You kick the sheets out of the bed at least 5 times throughout the night. I love the face. He's trolling her so hard. And when it seems you're done, one finds the sheets are drenched in saliva. She is such a fucking Kaslana. Oh my god, I love you, Bianca. Stop, don't say anything else. Why did she share why did she tell you so many lies? Better ask her yourself. Bianca-sama, Shakespeare-sama, I apologize for interrupting your conversation. Today's breakfast is fried bread made with whale fat, bacon egg, fried shrimp, and asparagus, apple salad, and a mushroom cream soup. Rita is like a blessing to this ship. Everyone gets good food because Rita's there. Please enjoy. She changed the topic so smoothly, but this looks delicious. Nom nom. This fried bread is delicious. Rita, aren't you a little too good at this? I'm honored by your praise, Bianca-sama. I love how well Bianca and Rita mirror Kiana and May. I wonder if Rita learned how to cook for Bianca. Because we know May originally wasn't that good at cooking. She learned to cook because she became friends with Kiana, as far as we know. Kiana started liking her food in school, so she practiced more so that she could make food to get praise from Kiana. Just don't think I'm letting you off the hook just yet. Don't go babbling about your leader's private life to strangers. Is that clear, Adjutant? I will keep it in mind. Geez, you have no intention of listening to me. Someone somewhere once said, the way to someone's heart is through their stomach. Such a random thought popped up in my head as I was stuffing breakfast down my throat. It seems everyone is done eating breakfast. The Caledonia has surfaced and will soon deck on Alexandria's port. On this eventful day, your captain has a selfish order for all of you. Everyone gets a 24 hours vacation. That is the most pirate-looking pirate we've seen so far. Whoa! Heck yeah! Your dear captain will help those who want to go to Alexandria. Go and have fun, except gambling I'll cover all the costs. Long live our captain. Long live vacations. It's so unfair, I don't like what they're doing. Just gotta keep looking. Those who have been tagging along with me for a while already know what's going on with the locals, but we got some new people aboard this time. Thus I'm giving another order, one of utmost importance. Old and new sailors must form pairs, decided by lottery, and stick together the entire day. Forming groups of 3 or more people is forbidden. It has to be 2. Yes, like a date. Okay. Huh? Eh? Look, the lottery is all ready. You can go get some snacks, you'll be back in a while. Okay, Arsham. I should still be going, assuming you don't take too long. I'll be going for a bit longer. Will you seize your own fate with your own hands, or should I do it for you? Don't come crying later if I cheat. Being the director of a theater company means you can't behave like a normal person. Sounds fun. Since no one wants to go first, let this old man take the lead. Alright, this one. Oh, it says S. That's you, isn't it, Captain? Hahaha, that's me. You're gonna have to wait a little bit until all the pairs are decided, old man. No hurries. You're taking care of me. It's the least I can do. Well then, who's next? Sorry for the trouble I caused earlier. I? It seems we're a pair. I dislike soldiers, but our mother tongue is the same. At least I can be your guide. So she's German. I don't know. I'll be counting on you. W. Ah, that's me. Well, why not? You're kind of irritating, but you don't seem to be the type of person who would cause serious trouble. Oh, this poor kid. A pleasure to be your partner. Thank you. That was a compliment, wasn't it? You're too much of a good boy, engineer. Then only Rita and me are left. It seems so. Do you have any recommendation regarding souvenirs? A souvenir? Hard question. I can think of many. I can't decide which one. Huh. Well, what do you think of the world's largest city? For a big city, it has a retro feel. Kinda like Aden or Kolkata. Oh, those are places I've never been to in any world. And what about Florence or Istanbul? They didn't exist for Shakespeare. Haven't been there either, but I get your point. Ah, the information society of the 21st century must be wonderful. You can know all about the beautiful history of past civilizations. I'm so jealous. Can you take me there someday? That's... Don't take it so seriously. Let this person from the past envy you earnestly. Anyway, today is your day off. Don't stand there. Everyone, get out of here. The captain of the Caledonia laughed as she pushed her crew members and guests out of the ship. Each group must be 2 people. Prepare to receive the captain's special punishment later if you don't comply with this forced state. Hahaha. I'm confused, but okay. We're finally on land again. The management of this place is sloppy. No one asked us for clearance. About the management. Ah, they're here. What came here? Please be clear. Welcome to Alexandria. James Watt, an unnamed young lady. Young lady, I am the police of this city. For your first visit, you are required to enter various basic information. Oh, so this is what you were talking about, Jimmy. Yeah, amazing, isn't it? Please enter the required information. Name, Bianka Atagina. Gender, female. Age, 12. Birthday, January 1st. Not that I know what calendar system this place is using. And lastly, a fingerprint. Is that enough? Yes, thank you for your cooperation. Have a nice trip. Even though a year only has 365 days, this is the first time I see someone born on New Year's Day. Gosh, it's not good manners to peek at a lady's private information, you know. I'm so sorry. It wasn't on purpose. Well, it's no big deal. Don't lose your composure so easily. And it's not my real birthday anyway. It's what a teacher at the orphanage decided for me. They decided it without your permission? Yes, I don't know when I was born, and New Year's Day is easy to remember. Makes sense. Well, where are we going now? I know. We could hire a robot guide since the captain said she would pay for it. Please wait. Not only the police are robots, but also the tour guides? Yes, isn't the city amazing? I'm curious about who's managing these robots. If it is... The city administration group is in charge of them. They do it from a place called City Hall. They also use robots to maintain safety and collect taxes. Who are the members of this group? An election is held each year to select people from among the citizens. Actually, the system is self-maintained, so anyone can do it. The job is akin to jury duty in a British court. Is that so? Surprisingly advanced. Shall we move on? Right. I'm not sure where to go. Oh look, it's a guide robot. Oh, welcome to Alexandria. Information on basic services is free. If you need a tour guide, please provide your ID and insert 3 drachma. Robot voices are fun. Drachma? What's that? Money. Money is called drachma here. It's a Greek word. It may not look like it, but each drachma is equal to 10 grains of gold. Surprisingly expensive. And what does this 10 grain refer to? Oh? There's a face I recognize. Grain is the average weight of 1 gram of wheat. Gold is precious, so we use small quantities. And now, the opportunity to save money has presented itself. What do you mean? Rather, who are you? Me? I'm someone who can give you a better tour than any robot, for the mere price of 2 drachma. So you're also a tour guide? Guide? No way, that line of work is too much work for me. Welcome back. The city is apparently run by robots. And we run into a familiar face. If you have a fire character anyway in Honkai. My tour is fundamentally different because my train of thought is fundamentally different than that of a robot. In short, I'm a philosopher, and I don't see things the same way as them. What are you going on about? Seems there's a small difference in our perception. It means I must prove my value for you to recognize it. Like I'm saying, I don't know where to start with you. Can't you do something about how you talk? I know what you mean, but I can't. I am Thales of Militus, Director of the Metaphysics Institute of the Great Library and Commander of the 3 Forces, a true philosopher. Here's my business card. Wow, it's really someone from the Great Library. Awesome. Great Library? You mean the one that was burned several times in history? Uh-oh. Spoilers, Bianka, what if that hasn't happened to her yet? That's not the case here. The Great Library is the best research institute in the world. It has been active for over 2,000 years. Also, all the robots in the city are manufactured by the Great Library. Oh my, there sure is a lot of rumors about us. The Great Library has only existed for less than 200 years. Sorry to disappoint, boy. Still studying my metaphysics at the Great Library is awesome. By the way, what is metaphysics? Is it something that important that you praise it so much? If the engineering science I'm studying is learning to deal with limited material, then metaphysics is the study of something infinite, philosophy within philosophy. I didn't understand a word of that. In general, science studies things and their behavior in the real world, while metaphysics studies abstract concepts and their relationships, because reality is ultimately limited and the potential of abstract is limitless. That's the best analogy he could think of. Incidentally, I don't agree with metaphysics being a philosophy within a philosophy. That is a prejudice made by our predecessors whose development level was too low and brought in non-philosophy into philosophy. Which is why I think philosophy is a part of metaphysics that cannot be proved by a logical argument. In terms of subset, it's actually the opposite of what he said. As science gains ground, the position of philosophy shrinks. You could say it's proof of the development of science and mankind's progress. The more you explain, the less I understand. More importantly, I'm curious about something you said earlier. Commander of the three forces, was it? Are you a philosopher, but also in the military? Ah, that. It was a joke. The Metaphysics Institute only has 3 members, thus, commander of 3 forces. If I phrase it like that, I sound important. Ha 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 ha. Only 3 members, you say? Must be tough. Is that why you're making money by working as a tour guide? Boy, you think that you're familiar with this city. Do us a favor. Tell us what you can buy with 100 drachma. With 100 drachma, probably a drum oil, one big enough that needs to be carried by 2 strong sailors. That example is hard to follow. Then if I use food, maybe half a cow, I think, or a pig? So approximately 2,000 euros, or maybe a little less? That's certainly a lot of money. How long does it take to get 100 drachma? 1 week? 1 week? At the Great Library you can make that in half a day. 100 drachma in half a day. 200 per day. That's 4,000 euros. Your monthly income is 120,000 euros and your yearly income is 1.4 million euros. That's even higher than the salary of a rank A Valkyrie. You rank Valkyrie? Valkyries have a rank? Apologies. I lost my composure. Please forget I mentioned any rank. Now I see, Thales, you didn't approach us because you were in need of money. Now you get it. I wanted to talk with you because you seemed interesting. What do you say? You don't get the chance to explore city guided by a philosopher often. It certainly doesn't sound like a bad idea, but if you're so rich, why did you want to charge us for your services? Hahaha, you're an interesting one. Fingerprint confirmed. Thank you for choosing the Lighthouse Guide system. Director Thales of the Great Library. Interesting kids. I will take over as your tour guide. Huh? You paid the robot yourself? Still not translated? Still not translated. Rational thinking is trapped in contradictions, and as such it will lead to its own denial. When you reach a dead end, reverse your line of thinking to see what both parties really want. In our current situation, you want a guide, but you don't want to be deceived. I want to talk to you, but you don't know me. Basically, since if you hire me or not is irrelevant, there's a way for me to leave this predicament. I must reverse receiving money to paying money. That way both parties get what they want. Be smart. We can be friends, as long as you pay, that is. Heh, look at you. You look so serious, but you can joke, too. Hey, aren't you being a little rude? Anyway, metaphysics is the study of the nature of reality. It examines thinking itself, its ability and limits to grasp the truth. It would take an entire semester of classes to explain it in detail, so let's not go there now. She's gonna enter commands into the robot. Input confirmed. Starting tour. This is the central square of the Harbor District. It's a great place for travelers to buy souvenirs. Many different stores can be found here, and this zone is also a tax-free area. You will be able to find high-quality products at a reasonable price. Today we recommend rice flour chiffon cake from Nile River Orchard, canned sea urchin from Memories of Nicosia, and glass art from Copenhagen's Mermaid. He sounds like a salesman. Well, this is a commercial city after all. Please overlook it. Speaking of products, do you know what the aesthetic difference between food, clothing, and buildings? I don't know. Seriously? If it isn't the overseer, it's you. Do all philosophers take pleasure in presenting a question they themselves can answer? You can presented an interesting idea. Well done, kid. Please don't treat me like a child. I must let you know I'm a great Valkyrie. And you don't look too much like an adult yourself, shorty director. Yes, I've got it. Let's get back on track. I will teach you the difference between food, clothing, and buildings. The answer is their shelf life. Shelf life? Yes. Food has the shortest shelf life. It doesn't last very long, and once you eat it, it's gone. Clothing is the middle ground. They can be used for several years, even decades, if preserved well enough. They can even be passed down from generation to another. Buildings, of course, have the longest shelf life. The cost of making one is high, but once built it can be used for centuries. In short, you can eat 3 meals a day, wear a different piece of clothing each day, but if the building you live in is old, there's no choice but to endure it. Unlike food or fashion trends that change in a short time or in spiral, architecture represents the transition of aesthetics in history. Revolutions are changes that come at the price of destroying the previous history. Those who are aware of history's value will only repurpose the inside of a historical building while preserving its appearance and value. For example, this central square, until 200 years ago, it was a slave market and not the tax-free area that it is today. A slave market? Yes, a place to buy and sell living humans. You probably don't know about it, but this city still has a certain degree of slavery in the form of liabilities. What did you say? It's true. If you go bankrupt in Alexandria, you'll be listed as a community-contracted slave by the government. Well, you could call them free prisoners. In the case of bankruptcy, the government will pay the money, including interest. Your salary during the duration of the contract will be used to repay your debt, or you can get someone else to pay it for you. If the parents can't pay it during their lifetime, their children will take over their debt, and the interest rate is barely 7.5%, not too high. Isn't this too much of a tyranny? Tyranny, huh? From your point of view, it may look like that. But this city has no prison or death penalty. There is only confiscation of property and complete exile. Looking at the history of this place, slavery was inevitable. The fact that slavery has been reduced to community-contracted slaves is already a huge improvement. I can't accept it. I have been taught that slavery and joint and several liability are unacceptable barbaric laws. Yes, It's obvious someone from a more advanced society wouldn't agree with it. But you're here today as a tourist to enjoy the city. Don't worry about those things right now. You can't judge this city without knowing every aspect of it. This is the city hall mentioned earlier. Hear more about it from the robot. The City Hall of Alexandria was established 165 years ago in the year 1 of the Republic calendar. It was confiscated from its previous owner by a group of revolutionaries. Since then the building has been the headquarters of the legislature, public council, and executive branch city administration group. It was built with a Greek style in mind. And both sides of the arc are decorated with statues of important figures from the outside world, such as Aristotle, Alexander the Great, Solon, Heracles, Leonidas I, Spartacus, Gracchus, Caesar, Cicero, and Augustus. Those who wish to hear more detailed explanation about any of them, please input the number below the statue. I'm more interested in that public council rather than those extraordinary people right now. Such a strange name. Basically, it's an organization in charge of making all citizens vote to change or enact laws. Just in case I'll clarify, slaves and outsiders don't possess citizenship, so they can't participate in this vote. A group of revolutionaries 100 years ago took control from a tyrant pirate. But the revolutionaries were pirates themselves, so a war broke out between commoner pirates and aristocrat pirates. The city has a deep trench at the north, an oasis at the south, and an affluent Nile River flowing from east to west, which means it's easy to defend. So many people were interested in controlling it. So how did it become a commercial city and not a military stronghold? That's because the location was perfect to be a commercial hub. Merchants aren't afraid of pirates as long as the other party likes money. In the end, it all came down to a government, a state, or you could call it a tool to let one class exploit another as well. The self-imposed peace of a barbaric society is a social auto-regression. While it's a good thing, often enough, it leaves bad customs in that society's culture. You mean slavery? Exactly. Ironically, due to the high level of development of this city, even slaves are living better than anywhere else. Public baths, flushing toilets, basic medical insurance, social security. These are things you can't get anywhere else. Ah, my workplace is nearby. Why don't we visit the Great Library next? Oh, robot time. The Great Library was once the personal museum of a previous ruler. Its origin can be traced back to an ancient temple. In year 2 of the Republic calendar, it was rebuilt as a scientific research institute. The citizens of Alexandria believe science to be very important. For that reason, the Great Library has been given the same social status as the Public Council and the City Administration Group. Thanks to widespread use of robots as public servants, the Great Library has taken over the duties of the courtroom and has become a pillar of society as a legal institution. Okay, I've been sus of Thales this whole time, but now I'm even more sus knowing that she's basically like a judge. The external side of the building has been heavily influenced by Asian culture, but the interior remains Greek in style, similar to the City Hall. The interior and exterior belong to different cultures, but their nature matches so well that it can be seen as a rare example of architectural transformation. Use of the Great Library is free to those registered in the city. Outsiders must provide a citizen guarantee or make a payment in advance. Do you understand what the robot meant by that? You mean the difference between a person registered in the city and a citizen? That's right. The former includes slaves without citizenship, and the latter is limited to citizens with citizenship. But don't get hung up on those social issues. Let's go inside. Amazing. Impressive. Does it go 10 layers underground? The underground segment was recently built, while the upper segment was personal collections of the tyrants of the past. Nothing but storage. That said, not everything disappeared along with them. For example, the Greek military junta and the complete comedy works of Aristophanes. Of course, we also have titles such as Homu's Hyper Adventure and records of the 3 Homu kingdoms. Perfect. Homu exists in this world. Why is there a Homu in their names? Does this say novel edition? They are works reproduced by outsiders. Most of the works here are memoirs rather than the originals. If you spot any inconsistency with the version you know, please point it out. With any luck, you'll get rewarded. There are 2 great writers aboard my ship, Shakespeare and Cervantes. Maybe I'll tell them to drop by later. Oh, the scenery from the backside is wonderful. It's a nice place to relax and cool down your head. Well, have you managed to grasp the beauty of civilization? You mean architectural art? Not only that. If it wasn't for humanity's constant living, the pyramids or the Parthenon would be meaningless geometrical figures. And let me add, aesthetics is a process in which free will is self-sublimated by emotion. Deep in one's heart, all external information comes together, transcending space-time, and synchronizes with a mental wavelength, giving birth to a profound emotion. The beauty of civilization lies within little countless things that interwoven to form a larger and more complex picture, interweave to form. Free will is one line, one point of color in that picture, each free will. Apart, it may be ugly, but pieced together it can form something beautiful. Yes, there you go again with the complicated talk. Jimmy, it's about time He's gone. Jimmy, where are you? Oh boy. This silly little boy get kidnapped or something? Okay, enjoy your food. I'm gonna read something quick. Let's see. This might be... I hope this chapter ends at a good... That one was too much of a cliffhanger. I'm not going to end there. This might be the last chapter we do. We'll see. Library. For those without the proper knowledge, bookshelves are a cultural cemetery made by boring people. One way to describe it. For those who have the knowledge to understand what they say, a library is a roaring Valhalla, a spiritual hall for communication across time and space. I propose to consider the question, can machines think? This should begin with definitions of the meaning of the terms machine and think. The definitions might be framed so as to reflect so far as possible the normal use of the words, but this attitude is dangerous. If the meaning of the word machine and think are to be found by examining how they are commonly used, it is difficult to escape the conclusion that the meaning and the answer to the question, can machines think, is to be sought in statistical surveys such as a Gallup poll, but this is absurd. Instead of attempting such a definition, I shall replace the question by another, which is closely related to it and is expressed in relatively unambiguous words. The new form of the problem can be described in terms of a game which we call the imitation game. I got separated from my two partners while I was immersed in Alan Turing's thoughts. Oh, partners, I say, but those two were too busy talking to each other, they probably didn't notice I wasn't there anymore. I'm feeling sleepy. Maybe Turing's paper is too complicated. I can't. If I stop reading now, I'll lose track of what I've read so far. At least I need to finish this chapter. I feel like I'm forgetting something important. It's useless, my eyes. I'm sleepy. Before losing consciousness, I smelled something akin to a perfume. What is the meaning of this? He should be somewhere in this postmodern scientific museum. We even searched the bathroom, but he's nowhere to be found. It's strange. That geek boy shouldn't have been able to go too far. We were together for sure at the lobby, where I introduced you to postmodern science, the knowledge of the external world we haven't mastered yet. Afterwards, we climbed the stairs, left the building through the back door, and looked at the scenery. We got separated at any point. Him being immersed reading a book here would be the most likely cause, but this is not time for a carefree analysis. Call him through the radio, close all the doors, search every corner of this place. This city used to dabble in slave trading, knowing that a timid boy like him would never leave on his own. He didn't get lost, he must have been kidnapped or something. That worst-case scenario is not entirely impossible. I'll admit that much. I will arrange immediately the use of the radio. However, the other two actions will disrupt the order of the library. First, we need the permission of the curator. Then let's go see the curator, right now. If he doesn't show up, I will take matters into my own hands and thoroughly investigate everyone here. Calm down. The curator is a reasonable person, but right now you look like you're trying to pick a fight. What did you say? I understand you feel anxious about what happened to your friend, but there's an order for everything. Don't throw it away and cause trouble for everyone else here. Rules and systems are only effective because people adhere to them. Also, if you know violence is not good, suppress that aggressive attitude of yours until we confirm whether it was really a kidnapping or not. Welcome back again. Or else you'll bring shame upon yourself. That's a picture? He looks familiar. Come in. Curator, it's about the broadcast I made earlier. You probably heard it already. We searched every place we could think of but couldn't find a single clue. It's impossible someone disappeared without any witness. Please at least contact the police. I already did. I said it before, didn't I? The library acts as a legal institution too. Follies, basically you're saying someone disappeared inside the library and they didn't leave any trace behind. Yes. I also took a look at the surveillance cameras, but there was no footage of anyone similar to him leaving the building. You have surveillance cameras. Makes sense since there are robots too. Don't interrupt me, Valkyrie. Curator, the surveillance footage tells us the missing boy hasn't left the building and he isn't responding to the radio message. Can I ask for a complete lockdown and thorough search? Do we need to go that far? I think we do. There's a chance this incident is connected to the recent Missing Outsiders case. What makes you think that? It's difficult to make a person disappear. The culprit being the same person is more likely than there being two criminals with the same MO active at the same time. Very well. The library will remain closed for 2 hours. Anyone entering or leaving will need my permission. During that time, the entire staff and robots will search for the missing boy. Are you okay with that, young lady? I'm Bianka Atagina, rank A Valkyrie. I'm the curator of the Great Library, Caterina Michelangelo Buonarroti. You can call me Michelangelo. I recognize the art. Thales, would you please tell the consultant detective to come here? We need to settle this as soon as possible. The library has 227 reading rooms, 39 laboratories, 89 offices, and 45 warehouses. It will take too much time to search everything. The staff and the robots are running around looking for him. Shouldn't we be doing something too? I'm not doing nothing here. I'm waiting for that person thinking over there. The curator pointed her finger at a person sitting in a chair. She seemed to be busy thinking while assuming a strange pose like Holmes. Seems everyone can't wait any longer. I'll start sharing my deductions while we wait for my trusted assistant to come. Wait a moment. Who are you? I'm an archaeologist and a consultant detective. Anything else? Oh, did I forget something? A name? Why yes, perhaps your name? Are you not going to introduce yourself, properly? It's not like knowing my name would change our current situation, but oh well. Call me Champollion. Gianna Francois Champollion. Archaeology expert. I'll go straight to the point. The person you're looking for is not in this library. What? But the camera footage. The reason is simple. If the boy was here, why isn't he showing himself? There's a huge commotion going on because of him. He must have been locked up by someone. They must be waiting for the commotion to cease before sneaking him out. Your first idea has a point, but the second one is too unreasonable. If the target has been secured without anyone noticing, why would the kidnapper purposely take a risk and wait for the uncertain moment when the commotion ceases? And it's strange we haven't found any trace of him, if he was hidden in a hurry. Conversely, if this crime was premeditated, would the culprit stay here with the hostage, or would they try to leave right away? Which course of action do you think is the best? I get that. But Jimmy didn't show up in any surveillance footage. There wasn't anyone who looked like him either. Could it be Jimmy is... Don't let your imagination run wild. I doubt anyone had a grudge against him, and it didn't seem like he had a lot of money. The possibility that someone would try to assassinate him is small. But then... It's simple. He was put inside something and was escorted out of the library. But even if someone were to hide him in one of the boxes we use to carry books, they would be thoroughly inspected at the exit. They would be found out immediately. Director Thales, I never said anything about books. I know, but it's not time for cleaning yet. He couldn't have been hidden together with the trash. Besides those boxes, I'm not sure if there's something else where you can hide someone in. Even personal luggage is stored away before entering the library. It's right under your nose. What do you mean? What's the best tool of transportation that was made using that gem of reason you and your library are so proud of? Gem of reason? Oh? So the city has one of the gems. And if they're calling it the gem of reason, that tells me it probably has... It might have power similar to the core of reason. Ah, I see. Exactly. With large torsos, robots with large torsos are excellent tools to carry people. But the robots are full of electronic components inside. You can't... Ah, you noticed it, didn't you? Please explain it so that I can understand it too. If you remove the autonomous control unit of the robot and switch to remote control, you could fit a person inside. Any solid proof of that? From what I've heard, the robots have a heartbeat system that automatically sends a signal back to HQ at regular intervals. They do. It's a system we use to see the active area of each robot in real time, so that we can optimize their deployment zone. Anyone planning to use a robot for a crime will definitely remove its transmitter, otherwise the risk of being found out is too great. The staff in charge of the system are now comparing the heartbeat system records with the camera footage. The results should be coming in soon. Professor Chimp... There's a discrepancy between the number of robots that left the building and the system's records. It's 3 of them. 3? There might be more victims we're not aware of yet. Or perhaps the culprit used the same method to escape. In any case, finding those robots will get us closer to solving this case. You sure sound confident for what it is essentially looking for a needle in the ocean. I have a very talented assistant, you see. Stupid phone. She should be arriving in any moment. She better not stop to eat something on the way here. Is she really as reliable as you say she is? Whatever, let's go to the entrance. Even if the culprit is still inside, they would be no different than a cornered rat. The library staff will be able to deal with them easily. Cars. At the same time, somewhere in the city. I already used the drug. He should be waking up shortly. Will he really help us, though? Don't worry, we kidnapped him, but he seems to be too much of a good boy. There's no way he would let Unit 4 die. If that hadn't happened to the professor, we wouldn't have had to resort to this. We kidnapped 3 other scholars. It's just a matter of time until the authorities realize what we're doing. It'll be alright. The professor is no longer with us, but the assets he left behind are more than enough to make this experiment succeed. Not even the Great Library will be able to oppose us. Yes, and justice is in our side. Countless people who lost their freedom are waiting for us. It's time to turn off the lights of the Great Library that calls itself the lighthouse of this city. That puts a smile on my face. Their picture of the evil Lane. That looks so much like Lane. It's so funny. Oh, I can't find a good picture of the version of her that I'm thinking. Reminds me of her kinda though. Sup, Professor? The cake from the Nile River Orchard was so delicious I had to buy another one. Is there anything else besides food in that little head of yours? We can't have that hindering our investigation, Neith. But I'm not too late, aren't I? This kid is your assistant. Yes, her name is Neith. She doesn't look very reliable, but her nose is better than a dog's. I am reliable. I'm only late because the cake smelled so good. It's not my fault. So this kid is your search dog? Don't call her that. She's a treasure I found in the market. Market? Don't tell me she's... Let's get this started. Take us to the missing boys' room. We need to make Neith catch Jimmy's smell. You changed the subject very quickly. How suspicious. Neith once found Arthur, who ran away from home. I can vouch for her searching abilities. Arthur? The curator's pet parrot. We had a hard time catching it. Everyone worked together to climb the tree he was in. My precious silk cloak got torn on that day. There's no time to reminisce about the past. Let's go. Right, if we can really count on Neith, then let's hurry up. Jimmy's room is in the Caledonia. Bianka? What happened? You seem to be in a hurry. Jimmy is gone. I'm trying to get a whiff of his smell to find him. Lala, you're in charge of the cabin too, right? Can you open Jimmy's room, please? Yes, come with me. Please wait, Bianca. What is it, Rita? You said Jimmy disappeared. What happened exactly? Right, you don't know yet. Alright, let me explain everything. Oh, and it's gonna skip it, I guess. I see, so that happened. In that case, leave Jimmy's search to me. Bianca, you should stay aboard the Caledonia. Eh? Why should I? I know you want to help Jimmy. However, we need to keep in mind our own mission. We, and particularly you, shouldn't get involved in this case. Did I hear that right? Are you saying that I shouldn't get involved in an incident that happened under my watch? Are you serious? I'm very serious, Bianca. Getting involved in the internal affairs of a big city like this could bring unexpected risks to us. One of us should remain aboard the ship to avoid the worst case scenario. Then it should be fine if I go out and you stay on the ship. I was Jimmy's partner. This is my responsibility. There are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. Recklessness, which leads to destruction. Cowardice, which leads to capture. A hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults. A delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame. Over solicitude for his men, which exposes him to worry and trouble. These are the 5 besetting sins of a general, ruinous to the conduct of war. When an army is overthrown and its leaders slain, the cause will surely be found among these 5 dangerous faults. Let them be a subject of meditation. Not translated? Yeah, I knew it was from Art of War, though. Bianca, from a military standpoint of view, your current state of mind is not suited to form this investigation. As long as there are unknown risks, we can't afford to act recklessly. I'm not being reckless. No one will have faith in me if I have my adjutant solve my problems for me. And all I'm gonna do is catch some kidnappers. Where's the risk in that? I'm an A-rank Valkyrie. I can handle something like that without breaking a sweat. If you insist so much, then please at least wait until the rest of Caledonia's crew is back. Got it. My nose is ready to go. Those who want to know where the criminals are, follow me. Good work, I'm coming. Bianca. Don't worry, maid. I'll keep an eye on that stubborn girl for you. Thank you very much. Was she eavesdropping on our conversation? Oh, that's a horrible place to cut it off. I have to do one more chapter. God damn it. Stop giving bad cliffhangers. I want at least this situation to be resolved before I end. As he despaired, Jimmy Watt began to remember what happened moments before he lost consciousness. I was in the Great Library when I passed out. Next thing I knew, I was already inside this prison cell. The door is locked and no one is answering to my screams. Bianka, Captain Shakespeare, Director Thales. I can only fantasize about someone coming to my rescue. Are those footsteps? I put my ear on the door. The footsteps stopped right in front of the door. Someone inserted a key. The door is opening. Scholar, I'm very sorry for the trouble I've caused you. Who are you? My apologies for the late introduction. My name is Alice. Right now, I'm in charge of this facility. Come this way, we can talk as we walk. This facility belonged to a certain professor. The professor was a peculiar person. He not only was a recluse, his way of thinking was completely different from everyone else in the city. The people of the city not only were against his plans for social development, but they also thought his ideas were too dangerous and exiled him from the city. But even so, the professor didn't give up. Using his vast knowledge, he began trading with people from outside the city, built this facility from nothing, and lived a self-sufficient life. All to make an existence like me. Is she a machine? To make you? Yes. This might be hard to believe, but I am not a human. Literally. Not in the metaphorical sense. Yes, please don't be startled. It's not my intention to deceive you. I'm Unit 4, a machine made by the professor. The Alice in front of you is one of many interfaces of that machine, one resembling the human body. I understand you might not believe me right away, but this is just the beginning of my story. I'd like to answer all of your questions right away. But before that, before you see a certain something, I want you to be mentally prepared. Mentally prepared? Where are you taking me? The place the professor is most proud of. The place where my brain is. Your brain? The professor's assistants brought 2 other scholars here besides you, but the moment they saw that, they refused to help them. One didn't want to hear the rest and tried to escape. The other one shut down and began praying non-stop. And now they're all dead. Dead? Yes, you are Alice's last hope. Were they killed? And why are they so afraid of this thing? What do you want from me? You're mistaken. There is no we anymore. Only you and me are left. The professor, his assistants, and the scholars they kidnapped. They're all dead. The first death happened approximately 50 hours ago. The professor worked for 20 hours straight and suddenly collapsed. His assistants tried to perform first aid on him, but alas, it was all for nothing. By the time I got to him, he had passed away. Having lost the professor, the assistants kidnapped you and 2 other scholars to keep working on me. Like I mentioned earlier, there was a disagreement between the scholars and the assistants, and now I'm the only one left. Fortunately for you, you were still sleeping in your cell when it happened. You can call me Jimmy. Jimmy, you're Alice's only hope for salvation. What do you want me to do? Take the stairs to the right. We'll be there shortly. After I climbed the stairs, I saw a door with no special features. Alice put her hand on the door. It seemed to tremble a little. Once this door is open, I hope you can remain calm and collected, no matter how unethical this experiment was. Is she made of other people? Or animals or something? The life that was born from it wants to live. I want to live. Oh? This is my central thinking processor. I lack the necessary permissions to view documents related to my own maintenance. Without the professor, I had no choice but to search for someone who can learn them, to have them teach them to me. To be precise, I don't need to know how. I just need to receive regular maintenance. Because if I don't, I will stop functioning in 200 hours. Give me a moment to organize my thoughts. Basically, you are a machine capable of thought, and this is your brain? Yes, that would be the simpler version of it. And your brain needs maintenance at regular intervals, just like how the human brain needs rest. Yes. The professor who made you wanted full control of your actions, so he didn't give you the necessary permissions to view maintenance-related documents, which resulted in you not being able to perform maintenance on yourself. Yes. That's strange. Why would he do that? I don't know. I think that maybe the professor wanted the means to control me in case of emergency. Emergency? Why would there be one? Because I am not a pure machine. Probably biological parts. Those cabinets near the wall, you are thinking there are complex electronic circuits inside them, don't you? You said you were a machine, so it would be natural to think that. I call myself a machine due to a lack of a better word. I'd still say it's a machine, just different parts. What do you mean by that? If I were to make up a word that could properly convey what I am, that would be a brain engine. I'm Unit 4. Unit 1 was a simple computer. Unit 2 was given artificially made neurons. Unit 3 used the brain of an octopus, and I'm a hybrid super biocomputer, and the reason he was exiled from the city. I believe that to get your help, I must confront this inescapable sin. The girl's slender figure pointed at a metal box. I can feel the tension in the air. If I open that box, I feel like something inside me will immediately shatter as if it were a glass vase falling to the ground. In that moment I realized I am nothing but a gel-like something that exists inside a container called a skull. Not even that, your electrical signal's in that gel-like something. Scary part of humanity and reality. Interesting if you get past it, but scary all the same. I think, therefore I am. The true nature of an individual who possesses I lies in the psyche, but fundamentally rejects any non-aesthetic impurities. Paradoxically, aesthetic is something that only exists thanks to the impurities of other individuals. It's impossible for humans to completely detach themselves from their own objectivity and subjectivity. For starters, our soul is the result of a neurotransmitter and feeble electric currents working as intended. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. If there is a difference between Alice and me, it would be the source of that gel-like something. At the very least, I can say she has won the imitation game. I'm absolutely certain of that. Seems like it. I accidentally touched her cold fingertips. Her fingers retracted quickly from the touch. In that moment, that fragile glass vase within me disappeared. Without hesitation, I turned the key and opened the box. In the center of the culture tank, which was connected to various electronic devices, there was a gel-like something. I'm sure it used to be the body part of a living being. However, for someone like me who doesn't have the necessary biological knowledge, I can't even start guessing to which creature it belonged to. The inside of the culture tank was dim, and an orange light was flashing from the vacuum tubes. I tried putting my palm on the surface of the culture tank. It felt warm, no different from how a normal person would feel, unlike her cold fingertips. I'll be honest with you, I thought I could force you to perform maintenance like the professor's assistants wanted. But that's not the right thing to do. I don't want to commit any more sins. Actually, I'm sorry, I got distracted by thinking about unimportant things. She took a bunch of keys from a pocket in her skirt and gave them to me. These keys will open all doors in the facility. How to proceed is up to you, Jimmy. I'll make sure to return you to the surface, to the world where you belong, I promise. Even if you think my existence is a heretic, something that shouldn't exist, Don't say that. The The professor and his assistants might have done bad things, but you haven't done anything wrong, Alice. But you don't know anything about me. This might sound dumb, but wanting to live is not wrong. You're not a normal person like me, which is why I can't forgive those who tried to use you and abandoned you. Though I have a place to return, I was forced to come here, and I don't know anything about you. As an engineer, no. As a person, I can't let you die. Forgive me. Alice, your life won't end in 200 hours. I swear it. Oh, and then badass music. At the same time. Right, at the next intersection. Straight then left. Run past the slums. We're not there yet. Keep going. This way. Oh my gosh, they're leaving the city. Forward, keep going. Aren't we in the outskirts of this? Aren't we in the outskirts of the city? You can trust Neat's nose. Also, this bit of sunken sand is characteristic of a 3-wheeled robot. When their tires go over the sand, they leave marks like this one. I see. These traces tell us we're on the right track. Neith, I'm correct to think these tire tracks will guide us to where Jimmy was taken? Yeah, it's okay if you follow them. Great. Kidnappers, say your prayers. Oh boy. Oh, the smell. What is this? It's a sulfur lake. They're made by volcanic activity. This is bad news. Professor, the smell is too strong. I can't keep going. Yes, I know. The smell of rotten eggs. A large amount of hydrogen sulfide is coming out of the sulfur lake. Hydrogen sulfide is a toxic gas, and when the concentration is too high, you stop smelling it. We can't advance recklessly. Then, how did the kidnappers get in there? I suppose they use gas masks or something similar. Look at this point. This part is sunk deeper compared to the tracks behind it. It must mean a robot was parked here for a while, which means they prepared their equipment in this spot. Neith, go see the curator and ask her for gas masks and oxygen tanks. Tell her to bring as many people as she can. We need to perform a thorough search. And this time, don't get distracted. Got it. What should we do in the meantime? Wait here? Well, rest, not wait. Knowing when to rest and wait for the right time to act is one of the keys to victory. By the way, Valkyrie, have you ever taken part in a war? War, the kind where people kill each other. Valkyries fight to protect humanity. They're not mercenaries who fight for someone's self-interest. Haha, well said. I envy your era. Most people must know how foolish war is. Nope. War is glory to the uncivilized and shame to the civilized. You can't understand its cruelty without experiencing it yourself. You can get angry, but in time you'll be happy again. You can get anxious, but in time you'll be calm again. But countries destroyed and people killed will not come back. Your ally today may be your enemy tomorrow. Your enemy today may be your ally tomorrow. Everyone fights for profit and nothing else. Then you're right in being envious, because us Valkyries don't fight for self-interest, unlike many military leaders in history. No, what you're saying is not possible. What do you mean by that? Are you saying I'm wrong? Not really, just in theory. The so-called battle is at its core the redistribution of profit through violent means. Even hunting, regardless of the reason behind it, has the act of peeling away a prey's fur or eating its meat. Something changes in the world when a battle occurs. It may be something someone wants, or it may be something someone doesn't want. which is why those who take part in battle must take responsibility for the change they're causing. Only those who have that sense of responsibility can call themselves a soldier. Otherwise, they're just a machine following orders. Are you really an archaeologist? What else could I be? The commander-in-chief of the Eastern Expedition Force, perhaps? And we don't get to know about this. Then I have to do this. I get it now. Alice, we can start whenever you want. Really, amazing how you were able to understand it so quickly. The maintenance itself is not a difficult job, it's just the procedure that is slightly complicated. That said, I don't have the authority to change your reading rights. It's a bit roundabout, but I'll have to learn it well myself first to teach you later. Sorry. No, it's not a problem at all. I don't mind studying together with you. Then let's start from box 1 and stop adding Sama to my name. It doesn't sound right. Yes. Pull out the culture tank and press the B button according to the status shown. I see. Simple enough. No wonder the professor never let me see him working. The professor. I wonder what you were to him. That's something not even I know. He was the one who named me Alice. Maybe you'll be able to see the contradiction behind that. Did you know, Alice is the protagonist of a certain fairy tale. I literally have that book right beside me. I started reading it again. I love reading it. Good book. Something I started reading when my internet died the other day. In the story, she met a rabbit, and together they climbed a beanstalk. Beanstalk? Sorry, never heard of it before. So she followed a rabbit, but wouldn't it be hard for her to fit in the rabbit hole? I guess she can because the rabbit was special. Anyway, the protagonist Alice followed the tuxedo-wearing rabbit until she arrived at the base of the beanstalk. There was a hole in the beanstalk. The rabbit jumped into it and disappeared. When Alice got close to it, she felt a strong wind current. What am I going to do about my skirt if I end up flying like the rabbit? Alice pondered. That's when a single leaf fell off the beanstalk and landed next to her. It was carrying a bottle with a label that said, "Please drink it." Isn't that too suspicious? Box 5 is next. Want to press the buttons yourself? Yes, I think I can do it. Pull it out. The status display says 3, so I need to press the green button, correct? Yes, well done. On to box 6. So, did Alice from the story drink it? She did. Then her soul jumped out of her body. Her soul? Must be some kind of magic. Alice's soul made it to the top of the beanstalk. When she looked back, her own body was being carried by a pod. This turned into a scary story. A scary story? The professor once said humans are afraid of having their souls leave their bodies. I guess it was true. Rather than fearing that, what they fear is death. Nobody has ever experienced what it's like to have their soul leave their body, because when that happens, that person is dead. That gets into some metaphysical stuff. Not entirely true. Depends on people's beliefs. I understand, but the Alice in the story didn't die. Alice reached out to her body, and when she touched it, her body and soul were one once again. How far can this pod take me? She thought. As if understanding what she was thinking, the pod flew Alice over the clouds. The pod started growing and became as big as a ship. The door suddenly appeared on the deck of the pod, and the words, "To the world of miracles," were written on it. Alice went through the door and carefully went down the stairs. At the bottom she found another door. The following words were written in a corner. "Abandon all common sense, ye who enter here." Sounds like a reference. The Divine Comedy. Divine Comedy? It's similar to what's written in the gate of hell. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Quite an ominous phrase. Well, it's the gate of hell after all. So, did Alice go through that abandon all common sense gate? Yes, Alice was a curious girl, so abandoning common sense was an easy task for her, or so the professor said. When Alice went through the second door, her field of vision expanded. She could see a huge snowy mountain in the distance, a large river near her. There was a small train station near the river, so Alice headed there and saw a boy chugging an apple inside an office. I'm guessing chucking? When does the train arrive? Alice asked. It left 3 minutes ago, the boy answered. Alice was bewildered. Thank you, I will wait for the next one. Can't ride on a train that already left, he said. The boy shook his head and put away his half-eaten apple. Throw away your common sense, and here, if you haven't mirror, you can go back in time. Saying that, the boy put a small mirror on top of his desk and widened it until it was as big as a door. There you go, the station from 5 minutes ago is on the other side. Everything inside the mirror was upside down. When Alice poked the mirror, it caused ripples that spread like a spiderweb. A girl dressed in boys' clothes appeared on the other side and waved at Alice as if telling her to cross over there. Fearfully, Alice lifted her feet, and when the tip of her shoe went through the mirror, both worlds switched places at once. In the end, Alice was able to go through the mirror without much difficulty. An upside-down mirror, Newton's reflector. Newton's reflector? The first reflecting telescope? Yes, what you see is upside down because it uses the principle of reflection of a concave mirror. Also, a second reflector is needed to reflect the image at a certain angle, which creates a spiderweb-like pattern. Sounds similar to what the professor told me. Ah, could it be the boy that was eating an apple was actually Newton? I'm not sure about that, but it's a fairy tale, so anything goes, I guess. Oh, we're already at box 17. That was fast. You're getting better at this, Alice. It wasn't much. More importantly, Jimmy, aren't you pushing yourself too hard? I still hate doing the suffixes in English. I don't know what you're talking about. Every time we open a box, you take many deep breaths. It's just a psychological reaction. Don't try to downplay it. Even psychological reactions can have a negative impact on the body. I know doing this would make any ordinary person feel uncomfortable, so please don't pretend everything is okay. Sorry. No, it's me, the one who should apologize. You're doing your best for me. Don't worry. Now I know how to perform maintenance myself, so it would make me very happy if you could be my conversation partner instead. Where did we leave off again? Alice went through the mirror. You're right. After Alice went through the mirror, a train made out of chocolate that exhaled creamy white clouds arrived at the station. A squirrel wearing a work uniform left the driver's seat to yell, "Train to Cheese Archipelago! Train to Cheese Archipelago!" Alice didn't know what kind of place Cheese Archipelago was and asked the girl at the station, "What's Cheese Archipelago like?" "Tons of islands made of cheese." The girl answering smiled. "That's right, the Cheese Archipelago is the most beautiful place in the entire Milky Way. The golden sandy beach is made out of good cheese, and there is a castle made of blue cheese. There are cake trees, candy flowers, and much more, an all-you-can-eat buffet." Alice was a curious person, but she had a realist side of her. Thus she asked, wouldn't all of that cheese, cake, and candy be gone if everyone keeps eating them? The girl at the station laughed. Haven't you heard of this before? Midnight is when miracles occur. Come on, the train is leaving soon. Get on. The story became quite girlish all of a sudden. Eh, really? I wouldn't know myself. I can't eat chocolate, cheese, or cake. Do humans consider high-calorie foods girlish? No, I don't mean it like that. Is that so? Humans are complicated. Well, don't let it get to you. Mankind is known for its contradictions. The professor said the same thing once. Humans want to profit above all, but they aren't willing to take risks. If they can't do that, they maintain an image that they do. Humans are good at deceiving themselves. Deceiving themselves, you say? For example, just as an example, Alice claiming to be a girl because of this interface. Something like that. I wouldn't call that self-deception. Even if you're truly this many thinking processors, if you think of yourself as a girl, then you're a girl. Moreover, if you don't consider yourself as part of mankind, then human concepts don't exactly apply to you. So it's more like a mental thing, I guess. I see. It never occurred to me to think about it that way. It's settled. I will keep referring to myself as a girl. Status 4. Press the yellow button. Box 32 done. We have 26 left. Seems maintenance will end before the story. Will you leave once the maintenance is done? Right, I should get going, but... This time, I'll stay. I want to hear Alice's story to the very end. Aww. I'm worried this is gonna go downhill. I'm really, really worried that's gonna go downhill. But I think I might end it there. Just over 3 hours. I think that's a good chunk. I think that was... we'll see. Okay. I'm gonna go back to this. I think I pressed this go main menu. Chapters. That was the kidnapping. Well, that's a spoiler, but we did chapter 7. Welp. Is Twitch next? Nah, I'm probably not going to stream again until tomorrow. We'll see. I might do, like, a Discord stream. I might jump into chat and hang out if I'm doing something. I'm not sure. But tomorrow I will be streaming on Twitch at 10 a.m. EDT, my time. So, 24 hours after this stream started. I'm not entirely sure what all we'll be doing, but there's a good chance I might just be playing lots of DNF Duel, maybe jump to a few other games, who knows. I'd like to get some more stuff done in Code Vein, considering we didn't really get to play it too much yesterday because of the computer problems. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, 7 chapters. There's 20... There was, what, 31, I believe? So, a little less than a quarter of the way through. We'll see. I'll try to finish the story in 4 streams, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably do it once a week. I don't know about Fridays, because next week... Is it next week that we're getting a new patch? Or is it 2 weeks? I have to look at the schedules. I think it might be 2 weeks that we're getting stuff, but I'll figure it out, and I'll post my schedules either Sunday or Monday, depending on how hectic my weekends are and whatnot. But I'll definitely be continuing this at least once a week. So, thank you everyone for watching. As usual, down below is links to my my Twitter, I almost said my Twitch, my Twitter and Discord, which is where I announce all my streams, give people updates, chat with people, and just try to keep connected. There's also a link to my Twitch, which is where I do more casual, longer streams, usually on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Those streams can usually be like 7 hours, 8 hours long sometimes on a rare occasion. And that's just me hanging out, chatting, playing random games casually, and having fun with the community. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. And I'll see you next time. Ah.